Hey there, folks. Hope you're doing well today. There's a lot of clips of Nick Fuentes going around right now where people are saying he's turning on his followers. And when you dig a little closer, when you add a little bit more context, what you actually see is he's calling them to action. But let's start at the beginning. This all began when Nick reacted to the halftime show where Bad Bunny performed. It's almost like Nick connected with his Latin roots. Let's take a look.
This Bad Bunny character, I don't think any white Americans know who he is. Listen to him. This is an artist for Latin Americans in the United States, outside the United States. And so to have this guy, and also we know his politics in particular. He said fuck ICE at the Grammys and all that. And then at the end, he comes out with all the different flags from Latin America. Love triumphs over hate. Of course, there is a subtext. I understand that. But if you step outside of yourself as a chud that, like I said, you're obsessed with politics, and you go into the big social outing of the year, the Super Bowl watch party, and you can't stop thinking about politics and Trump and, this kind of stuff, if you're a normie and you're watching it, it's basically inoffensive. It's not explicitly political. It's implicitly political. It's not actually antagonistic. I didn't feel, and I say this as a right-wing white American, as really a far-right white nationalist, whatever you want to say, I did not feel antagonized by the show. I didn't feel like the show was taunting me. I didn't feel like it was antagonizing me. I didn't feel that it was defiant. I didn't feel like it was militant or anti-American. I think that it was actually, and I say this from the point of view of what it is propositionally, it's positive.
Okay, so there's a lot to take in there and a lot of stuff he said that would piss off white nationalists. He really talks about and gives credit to the effectiveness of what Bad Bunny was doing, not only musically but visually. Then at the end, he introduces this theme or narrative that he continues throughout a few days, throughout a few different clips, where he's really making this case that white nationalists have a victim mentality. And we see that come through when he's talking about, as a white nationalist, as of someone on the far right, that he did not feel antagonized by the show. And so what he's doing by that is calling out those white nationalists on the right who did and saying, hey, you're being a snowflake. Basically what we do on this channel. And this is the crazy part, that so many people are doing our job for us. Even the people we used to make fun of must.
And I don't mean by that it's good. I mean that it was a positive message. And the message was the U.S. and Canada and all the countries of the Americas were celebrating all the people. And so whereas maybe different expressions of wokeism in the past were very negative, it was about saying fuck white people, fuck America, and conservatives and Christians. And it was about giving them the middle finger and deliberately taunting them and antagonizing them and reveling in how antagonistic they were being. It was almost like the mirror image of that. And rather, it was celebrating the diversity of the Latin Americans. And it was a propositionally positive message. And arguably, there was even, you could say, an olive branch saying God bless America. Arguably, that's a political thing in itself, but waving the U.S. flag, throwing that in there, not having it loaded up with degeneracy, not having it completely loaded up with, LGBT type stuff or feminist stuff. You could argue that's something like an olive branch. In a way, it's inclusive towards chuds. Like a normie who is not aligned or a chud could actually watch it and plausibly not feel like they're being attacked.
And so this clip was even more interesting because he talks about how the left historically used to antagonize white people or white nationalists, and he is doing just that. But even moreover, what is this history of people antagonizing and blaming white people? And this is this interesting dichotomy we see throughout all of this, where he is calling them out for being victims, but at the same time, all of the cases he's going to make are about how he is a victim and we should blame these other people. It's very head-scratching and really leads to this idea that Nick Fuentes has no real principles and morals and is nothing more than a troll. And the weirdest part is when he starts using words and ideas like inclusivity. Let's remember, that's 1/3 of DEI. And so let's keep that in mind as we continue to watch these ideas evolve. Regardless, his audience responds, and that's what we're going to see here as he's going to take some super chats and then respond to those. Let's take a look.
Imminent Grape sent $20. The halftime show was in Spanish and all the performers were brown people. The message was this is what America looks like, a mosaic of Latin peoples. Clearly it was political, clearly it was a middle finger to white people. Weird take. Are you even a white nationalist at this point?
Honestly, I don't feel like one anymore. I feel like, you know, do I want America to be a white country? Yes. I'm pro-white, but the movement has just been captured by losers and idiots. And I don't really, I'm kind of just done pandering. I fucking hate these people. That's how I feel about it. You know, when I look at what the movement has become, like the kind of impulses that have captured it, it's just kind of depressing. And I've always been forward thinking and I've always been heterodox and I've always been progressive in a way. And increasingly, I don't feel like I fit in with that anymore, you know? So no, I don't think I'm like you, because now it's turned into, it used to be the case that if you were against white genocide, if you're pro-white, if you're against immigration, like that is what it meant to be on our side. Now it's like you have to be a Republican culture warrior. I have to be spun up about the Super Bowl halftime show.
And this is one of the clips that everyone on the left is really grasping onto and saying, hey, look, Nick is turning on his audience and is no longer a white nationalist. And so here we're seeing a lot of different things happen simultaneously. Nick talks about the movement being hijacked by idiots. And we never saw that more on display than when Nick Fuentes recently went out with a bunch of his friends, including Andrew Tate and Clav, for a night on the town. It was so obvious what losers they were. And so, again, taking into context, this is a guy who's a leader in a movement about white nationalism who is gay and Mexican, calling the movement captured and hijacked by idiots and losers. And the best part was, is like, I hate all of you. And he goes on to say, I'm not like you. And this can be interpreted a lot of different ways, right? We can see it as him turning on his audience, but it could also be seen as him provoking his audience, saying, hey, you forgot what this movement was all about. The Mexican guy is reminding all the white nationalists, hey, this is about hating people that aren't white, not about Republican politics. Now, with this next clip, he really sells you on this idea that he is turning on his viewers and his followers, as he makes the case anyone would after trying to polish the turd and make these self-proclaimed victims look like winners. Let's take a look.
It's just so low IQ. It's so low IQ. It's so monotonous, so repetitive. You're screaming at the halftime show because it's in Spanish. Okay, I mean, am I supposed to do this performative outrage? Why? I'm supposed to get up out of my seat? Who gives a fuck? You know? So I just don't. No, I don't think I fit in anymore because, you know, I'm telling you this, we've reached the high watermark of that stuff. I've been doing this for 10 years. I was into this before it was popular, before it was mainstream, and now it's filled with a bunch of complete fucking idiots. And it's really just turned into signaling that you're a part of an in-group. And we're all going to have the same take, and we're all going to have the same opinion, and we're all going to say the same thing, and we're all going to engage in this elaborate performance. I don't know who it's for, why. We're all going to perform outrage. We're all going to perform and do the same jokes, and we're all going to have the same talking points. And I don't know. It's no longer interesting to me. It's no longer interesting. It's not funny anymore. It's not edgy. It's really just become a drag.
And yes, all of the things he's saying in all of these clips are going to piss off his audience. But it's what he does once he gains their attention by pissing them off that should be the red flag. And we're almost there. Let's keep going. But before we get there, let's see him continue to troll his audience and really just call them out for being insecure snowflakes. Let's take a look.
At one point, we were the trolls, and now we're the butthurt ones. There was a point in time when we were having fun and we were laughing and we were trolling and we were making jokes. And now our side are the biggest butthurt faggots of all time. You know, the far right has become the biggest butthurt faggots ever. Everybody's mad all the time. You can't make jokes. Everyone's moral fagging about everything. Purity spiraling. And people are, at the end of the day, people don't even really have a vision for what the country should be. I mean, half the people complaining about the halftime show aren't even white nationalists. They don't even know what the fuck they are. They just have these grievances. They don't care if America... Do you think Megyn Kelly gives a shit if America's white or not? Megyn Kelly is bitching about it. Like, you think Megyn Kelly is based?
And so here we see him introduce a couple of ideas. One is that his white national movement involves purity tests. And yes, that's a big part of a movement that's based on race. And he also talks about them lacking a vision. And yes, when a movement is based on hate, it's going to lack real solutions. This has always been a platform of hate, not a platform of ideas. And so this idea that just recently everyone's been butthurt and mad all the time, no. This has been happening for the last 10 years because this is the whole movement. You always were losers that didn't live in reality. This is nothing new. The only thing that's new is that Nick is being honest about it. And again, this is most likely to rile up his audience to see him do the call of action that we're getting closer to watching. Let's keep going.
This like really bitter, like white resentment politics. And I've always said this. I want to imagine a better future. I'm actually a progressive. And this kind of like Oliver Anthony, Matt Walsh, like knuckle dragging, like bitter ass face thing. We're all going to be grumpy and mad. I've never been on board with that. I've always seen it as defeatist and fucking pathetic and basically just this big loser mentality. So, yeah, you know, the halftime show was in Spanish. Oh, I didn't know that. You're telling me for the first time. It's like, okay. The message was America is full of Latin people. Well, you know, it is. So, I mean, are we gonna, or do we live in reality? The message is America's full of Mexicans. Okay, America is like a quarter Hispanic. So, like, I don't know, like, get real.
Oh man, I love the term he used there. Bitter white resentment politics. We're going to make in fact, we're going to name this video that. But this clip is so great because not only is he calling out Matt Walsh and Oliver Anthony, but again, he starts living in reality and calling everyone else out for not doing so. But let's get back to some more super chats.
Other stuff, go watch something else.
Whatever sent $30, even if you enjoyed it. I was hopeful you'd better articulate why a Latin halftime show celebrating
we
your
already
culture was
watched that one. Yeah,
Jacob
yeah,
sent $20.
whatever.
Bawet tabata bang da bang
Yeah.
diggy diggy said the boogie set up jump the boogie.
Go take your fucking fedora and your hair transplant, your gay leather jacket, and shove it up your ass. I'm not watching a generic country concert. I'm literally watching this concert, and the lyrics are, "It ain't easy being country in this country. It ain't easy being country in this country." Holy SJW crybaby. Wham. I can't be mad about liberalism or else I'll get canceled. Shut the fuck up. Dude, Trump used to be awesome. Trump used to be like up on stage, like, we're going to build a fucking wall. Mexico's paying for it. And now it's like we're back to being these like big, fat, gross babies. It ain't easy being country. I can't get $1, man. I'm getting canceled for saying men can't be women. It's hard out here for a simple country boy. Like, shut the fuck up.
Romeo Guerrero 9 sent $20.
Okay, so again, it really feels like he's doing our job for us. He's using our same talk tracks. He's calling them out for the same real reasons that we do. And if you only saw these clips, you would walk away thinking he had actually turned on his audience. And maybe in this moment, maybe on this day, he did. But the very next day, using a lot of the same energy, he channeled it with asking for a different outcome, with a call to action. Now, let's dive into that.
I absolutely hate weakness, and I hate weakness coming from white people. Because here is what I saw in the two halftime shows. From the brown and black people, they are planting a flag. They're young, they're energetic, they're proud, they're confident, and they want everybody to know. The black people, the brown people, whether you like it or not, they're here. The barbarians are in the gates. They are here. They are outnumbering us in our country, in the world. They are proud. They are confident. They are young. They are dancing. They're playing their music. They are vivacious. They're having kids. And they are planting a flag. And their message, which we saw on Sunday, was, we are here. This is our country. Deal with it. And that was the message, unequivocally. That was the low-angle shot. It was a low-angle shot looking up at Bad Bunny and all the Latinos with their flags saying, love is stronger than hate. This is our country. This is our culture. We're here and we're not going anywhere. And that's a muscular, strong message, and it conveys vitality. And there's no question that they have a future.
Okay, so a lot of the same ideas, but slightly pivoting and delivered in a slightly different way. Yesterday felt more of a personal attack on his audience, and today it's more channeled in a direction of fear. Hey, they're doing this, so you better step up. And we finally see him make this assessment that unifying messages are inspiring and get traction. But let's see him now compare and contrast that to what he saw on the right with Turning Point USA's event. And let's also keep in mind that all of this, that there is the possibility that he went down this talk track just to give him more justification to talk trash on what Turning Point USA was doing. But again, when you take a step back, he does have some justification for calling out the right in, one, running with the insecure loser mindset, and then two, having events that are pretty loser-like. Let's take a look.
Then I watched the Turning Point halftime show, your all-American halftime show, your safe space for white cucks, your safe space for white losers. And all the white people retreated to some stage in Atlanta, apparently, and they had a cry. They had a good cry about how we're all dying. And some pathetic white doofus got up on the stage and said, I just want... He's literally crying. You gonna cry, you fucking pussy? He's literally sounds like he's about to cry. Oh, a poor white man all by himself on the stage with just his little guitar, with his world's smallest violin. And he's up there sounding like he's gonna cry. I just want to hug my dog. I just want to drink my beer. I just want to watch the game. That's Dude, we're the race that created fucking Adolf Hitler, nigger. We're the race that created Napoleon, Caesar, Hitler, Alexander, Stalin. This is what we've become? This is who we are?
And so, as you see, as we get deeper into this segment, the calls of action and the comparisons become more and more clearly defined. And really saying to his audience, hey, how did we become such losers? Don't forget where we came from, even though all the people he listed are fucking losers.
The Latinos, yeah, everything you say about them is true, but they're as ignorant as they are. They're planting a flag and they're saying, hey, where are you? Come get us, whatever. And then you get some white loser who gets up and says, I just want to watch the game. I just want to drink my beer. Leave me alone. What, because I don't want my daughter to be trans? You're going to cancel me? It's like, dude, grow a fucking pair of balls. That makes me, it's like I said, it makes me want to switch teams. It makes me want to switch sides. It makes me depressed. If that is the state of the white right, if that is the state of white America, all American halftime show, then fuck that. You deserve to die. You deserve to go extinct if that's the best you have to offer. And this is all that white people seem to be able to offer anymore is leave me alone. Leave me alone. Let us retreat.
At first glance, this clip makes you think, oh, wow, he's really calling out his audience. But no, when you dig deeper, what he's really doing is making a call to action, asking his audience to become more extreme, saying, hey, don't be a crybaby on stage saying, leave me alone. And we'll see this rhetoric step up in the next couple clips.
True.
Rapist werewolf sent $20. Have you tried being more white like clavicular and less Mexican?
Why would I try to do that? Mexicans are awesome. Have you ever noticed that Mexicans are winning? I don't know. Something to think about. Have you ever noticed that Mexicans are actually winning? They're breeding. Mexicans kill people, white people cry online. I'm just saying. While we're at it. You know, people are always trashing the Mexicans. Hey, man, Mexicans will, like, cut your head off. Mexicans are savage, bro. Aztecs? We're fucking Aztecs, bro. They're cutting people's heads off. They're scalping people. Cartels are putting heads on pikes. White people are crying about how they can't cut the grass. Mexicans just cut the grass.
And so we just saw that escalation in this last clip where he received a super chat. And now we see his audience trying to troll him back, calling him out for being Mexican. But again, him just turning up the heat, saying, hey, no, Mexicans aren't afraid to step up. You guys are. Again, a direct call to action saying, if you're real, you need to step up. And we're going to see even more examples of this in these next clips as he does this through dive whistles and analogies. Let's take a look.
White people write a song. I just want to cut my grass. You know, Mexicans just cut the grass. We don't do all that crying and carrying on. You know, Mexicans just go and fucking cut the grass. Okay, man, stop your belly aching. Let's just cut the grass, brother. Then we take a little nap under the tree. Then we tilt our sombrero. We take a little nap under the tree. We just cut the grass, pal. Bro says, I just want to drive my truck and cut the grass. What do you think Mexicans do? That's all they do. Mexicans, all they do is drive their truck and cut the grass. And white people, why can't we do it? Just do it. It's easy. Get in the car, drive around, pick up the lawnmower. So W us. We just do it. Just do it, gringo. Just do it, SA.
Now, in part of that clip, we saw it muted or clicked out. We did not do that. That's something he did, and we are not aware of what he actually said there. But if you listen closely, the analogies become pretty clear. But here, let's hear him summarize one last time about how this group is defeatist and losers. Again, really just doing our job for us. Thank you, Nick. Checks in the mail.
Somebody asked me last night, are you even a white nationalist? And I said, I don't feel like one, not because I'm not pro-white, but because it's such a defeatist, low-energy group now. It's defeatist. It's sad. And we just need something that's a little stronger, something that's a little more confident. And I don't mean it needs to be like white supremacist, like more hateful or angry, but I mean it needs to be a little more confident, a little more self-assured. It needs to be ambitious. You know, like, hey, we own the future. There is a future for white people. We are the future. We're the young people. We have ideas. We are the best. We are the brightest. We're planting a flag. They should be afraid of us. We're the next generation. You don't get a whole lot of energy like that from the white nationalists. You get a bunch of old neo-Confederates. You get a bunch of old, old-timers, segregationists. They were on the campaign in the 70s. Anyway.
Okay, so we've seen just a ton of clips of Nick really attacking his own movement, calling it insecure and defeatist. And he calls them a bunch of losers. And he goes on to say that the movement needs to be more confident and ambitious and even more self-assured. And again, when you take a step back and you start thinking about, well, how did that movement get to that place, right? It got there by not taking accountability, by blaming other groups, by not being honest with what really is the bigger picture and all the variables in the equation, usually leaving out a lot of context and ignoring nuance completely. And so that's what makes it so interesting. In this next clip in the very same show, we're going to see Nick Fuentes blame women for all of the problems. Again, really displaying this hypocrisy, where Nick is calling all these people out for being losers and crying about how hard it is to beat country in this country, while he's literally the loser blaming women.
The number one political enemy in America is women. Straight up, I'm just telling you, I'm telling it like it is. People might say it's Jews, it's Democrats, it's white liberals, it's leftists, it's the Chinese. Our number one political enemy is women. Because women constrain everything, every conversation, every man, everything. They have to be imprisoned. They are the ones that are hurting the fertility rate. They're the ones making us sympathetic to poor people, which are also brown people. When I want you to understand something, when you're sympathetic to poor people, you're sympathetic to brown people because brown people are poor. Okay. Not all poor people are brown, but most brown people are poor. So women are making us sympathetic to poor people, AKA brown people. Women are making us sympathetic to George Floyd. Women are the reason that their fertility rate is low because they're getting educated and they attack every man as a rapist and a pedophile. And they're henpecking and controlling all the men. So just like Hitler imprisoned gypsies, Jews, communists, all of his political rivals, we have to do the same thing with women. And we'll sort it out. We'll find the good ones. They can prove themselves. Then we'll let them go. So they go to the gulag first. They go to the breeding gulags. The good ones will be liberated. The bad ones will toil in the mines forever.
And so we're left asking ourselves, was Nick honest in the first set of clips where he actually turned on his audience? Or was that all just a play to get attention, to make a call to action to escalate things? And is he really that much of a hypocrite that he would call his entire audience out for doing something that he actually does in the same segment? Was any of this real? Was it all just part of a troll? Did Nick fall in love with Bad Bunny during the Super Bowl show and Nick's hips don't lie? And the answer to all of these questions is probably yes. It does look like Nick got tired of kicking the can down the road and acting like they weren't a bunch of losers simping. And then after doing so, tried to salvage the situation by using it for motivation and a call to action. And come on, let's be honest, who isn't a Bad Bunny fan after watching that halftime show?
The birds are eating my face. The birds are eating my face. The birds are eating my face. The birds are